Hi beautifuls, welcome back. We are here to dive into 2021 and the astrology and all your must knows. Now, if you haven't sub. If you do want to follow me and you feel this content relates to you individually, please write in the comment section how it does. I love to hear your feedback. Now, we're moving away from a very interesting 2020 and into a very unique 2021 that for a lot of us collectively hasn't happened on this planet before. And we are entering the air signs. We had both Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius. So it is very much that Aquarian age themes coming through. So we're going to tune into this week up until the 8th. What will be coming up for you, what the planets are doing, and how they're going to affect you. Now this month we do have Uranus and Taurus going stationary direct on the 1st. We also have Mars transiting out of Aries and into Taurus, and that's occurring on the 7th. Venus is also transiting into Capricorn on the 8th, and we also, towards the end of the month, will have a Mercury retrograde. We also this year have 3 squaring aspects Saturn is making, which are quite major aspects of this year's astrology. The dates that that's occurring is going to be February the 17th, June the 14th, and December the 24th. Now we'll get deep into your astrology and tell you how this week up until the 8th is going to affect your zodiac sign. Hi beautiful Aquarius, welcome back. Let's have a look at your zodiac sign and how January 2021 shall be affecting you in the first week. And some of it I may mention, into the future as to certain transits of what can happen and how it can affect you. Now, 2020 was pretty heavy for you because you did have quite heavy 12th house placement. Now, some of those themes can be playing out very much linking to that because we do have Mercury and Capricorn sextiling Neptune and Pisces on the first day of the month for you. Now, a lot of subjects to do with your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas, the way you communicate, your spiritual belief systems. There could also be communication in relation to 12th house placement matters, but also from a psychological point of view, because we do have Uranus and Taurus going stationary direct on the first day of the month. It can be our nervous system and us tuning into things of how they played out for us and where we stand right now. And in the first week of January, we can feel super tired, but also recovering from the Mars and Aries and Chiron retrograde effect. So the recuperation, the rebounds, the movement into this month can be very psychologically challenging, but just getting grounded. Now, your thoughts are going to be quite accountable, but you can be thinking about accountability of the past or the responsibilities that you had and the psychology surrounding them, as well as beautifully aspected, we do have Neptune and Pisces in your second house. So when it does come to your thoughts, your creative ideas, getting information brought to you that was potentially even hidden, or keeping your creative ideas to yourself, it can benefit you. You'll also find that with your second house placement, you could be getting assets, gifts, networking, and streaming things through. Now, let's not forget that we did have in 2020 in December, we had both Saturn and Jupiter transiting into your first house placement of Aquarius. So again, there can be some adjustment for that. Some of you will handle that transit very smoothly. Others, it can be where you're feeling very innately like yourself and there's this new version of yourself. But there can be a lot of responsibility inside of that because Saturn is structure and responsibility, which is very innately connected to your zodiac sign. And also the attributes of Jupiter is asking us to expand beyond that point. So this balancing act is really going to be occurring for you over the next 2 to 3 years, with both Saturn and Jupiter making that transit and shifting that perspective forward. Now, your emotions in the first 2 days, it's very much heart chakra energy. For you particularly, it will be you emotionally checking in with yourself and looking at your marriages, contracts, partnerships. So emotions can be heightened around these areas. You can have a lot of feelings to do with these areas and feeling these things out, or directly things and circumstances are playing out to trigger that area. So however it lands, there can be subjects to do with your contracts, and it's especially important in the first 2 weeks of this month, although this video relates to the 1st through to the 8th, to get all of the paperwork done that you do need to get done. Because as we move further into the month, we will have Mercury in shadow ready to go retrograde by the 30th. Now on the 3rd, your thoughts to do with, again with the 12th house and the 8th house axis, emotions coming up relating to endings, new beginnings, sharing, deeper connections, health, especially because we also have the energy of Taurus this month when Mars transits into Taurus. You are going to be having themes playing out surrounding home, accommodation, luxuries, having the money to be able to do those things, what to do and how to transform these things. Now with this 8th house placement, potentially between the 3rd and the 4th, you have Virgo moon energy transiting. So for you particularly, it relates to your emotions linking to stability, security, shared resources. You know, and with that, you could be maybe emotionally tapping into that. And with the 12th house, this can also be, you know, your hidden resources, your ability to bounce back, your ability to be very creative. You know, between the 3rd and the 4th, I would actually state that, especially with Uranus in Taurus, stationary, direct and moving direct through that shadow period, what you're going to find is our nervous system can be, you know, still balancing out to a degree, especially with Uranus and Taurus. So with that, having time to get grounded, checking in with your well-being and assessing these things. Now on the 4th, we do have Mercury in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, which is very similar to the 8th house. And you wanting to, something potentially could come up that needs to be let go of. This can be psychologically, emotionally, or physically. And it can also be sometimes it can be grudges, us holding on to things and memories that we need to let go of. You know, and endings and new beginnings are what it means moving forward. Some of you may need to leave a situation behind, or it could be repairs of goods also, and tension relating to that. Sometimes this can be where we've had a falling out with someone very separately and emotionally needing to let go of that conflict. You know, can it be effectively changed? Maybe meditating upon that, what would need to occur. 12th house is a very unique house, so it can play out in a multitude of ways. One can be very spiritual, you know, and there's various areas really it does connect to, but because we do have Pluto in Capricorn in the 12th, it's checking the stability of that. And I do feel a lot of you might be looking at your marriages, contracts, partnerships, the things that you're pouring your energy into, and what you can do to make sure on your side of the fence that those things are balanced and grounded, and what needs to go with you, what will stand the test of time, and what you need to let go of. And I do feel you guys being very subjective when it does come to this, but maybe struggling with that a little bit. But there can be some sense of information that comes to you on this day relating to what was hidden from you, either from yourself or from another individual. Now, really the key theme I do see coming through between the 4th moving through to the 5th is not standing in your way, pushing those creative ventures there, really researching through the detail, absorbing the information, but also having faith in yourself that you do have the tools in the bag where you can actually launch things. Now, the first 2 weeks is a beautiful time to launch new things, but as we progress further into the month, it will become more difficult. So, you know, the devil's in the detail, but it's definitely getting those things done now so that you can be prepared prior to Mercury going stationary retrograde by about mid-month. Some of you between the 5th and the 6th may be looking at upskilling education. You also might have emotions tuning into your belief systems as well, your value systems, your education. This can be even trying to create balance in these areas, but looking at these in a very balanced format, but really needing to keep quite grounded. There can also be subjects to do with your belief systems versus other people's belief systems. And with the 9th house, it can also connect to siblings. On the 6th, we do have Neptune in Pisces squaring the nodes. Now, for you in particular, you may feel that you don't have everything at your disposition to be able to pull things in your creative ventures. This can be, 5th house can be luxuries. It can be you wanting to go out, you wanting to, splurge out on yourself. So the difficulties can be the actual financial aspect of things, especially because prior to that, on the 3rd and the 4th, utilizing your cash component effectively prior to this date, or actually getting into a new routine as to, documenting what you like spending your money on, what you want to do. And some of these creative projects can actually generate an income for you. So, the yin and yang of it, from the 5th house placement, is very creative, but it could also be a need for luxuries, going out, socializing, having fun. But the aspect of it is, are there creative ways you can do that without it costing an arm and a leg? By the 7th, when Mars enters Taurus, you will find a shift connected to your shared resources. This can be income, it can be money, it can be to do with deeper meanings and deeper intimacy. And we're also having on the 8th, Venus entering Capricorn. So again, it is hitting your 12th house. Looking at the psychology and the emotional connection, this could be a very spiritual connection, but also looking at accountability. And I do feel inside of our marriages, contracts, partnerships, we can be feeling, in some ways, yes, we can have feelings relating to betrayals, but also the burdens of those responsibilities and the way we view ourselves inside of connections. So looking at that, and I do feel a lot of us taking a lot more direct accountability prior to 2020, with all the heavy nodal energies of Cancer and Capricorn, I feel that you're looking at it in a different way. And it's bringing up some of those new belief systems that you had versus what you have now and what to do with them. But being responsible inside of those energies, but only on your side. We can't take responsibility for another energy. And viewing those things, but pulling them in. Now, on the 8th, you will have a lot of, I feel, psychic downloads. This can be hidden resources. We've got the moon transiting Scorpio in this position, which does link to your career sector. Anything you're working on, your emotions relating to it, you may be tuning into it. If you're not happy in a job, you may find with all the 12th house placement, you may actually have an epiphany related to that. Or it could be even launching of these creative endeavors. Now, we do have the Sun in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces. And some of these things you've been working on, putting your energy into, blood, sweat, and tears, can really reap dividends at this point. We also have Mercury in Aquarius squaring Mars in Taurus. So both your viewpoint of what home is, what you're doing around the home. Are you getting everything in order? Where are you living? How is that going? Where is the foundation? Now, there can be some difficulties relating to that, but really getting organized will deeply assist you at this point. Some of you, it could be the monetary aspect. It could be directly working from home. Others of you, it can be a transformation in that area and the value system you have relating to it. Also, buying new things, ability to do that. But you're thinking about it. And I do think it's healthy. I think really the concentration of you in the mix and what you're able to do within your own energy, and the finances, the beauty, the value system you hold on it, meditating upon it prior, and I do feel working through it, you will find a creative solution. Now, through your relationships and your accountability, taking responsibility in these areas, you will be able to balance things. And what I mean by that is because Mars in Taurus is trining Venus in Capricorn. Again, relating to home, anything you're doing on the home front, anything in your daily routine, pulling things together, the hard work you're putting in, balancing career, money, home, you name it, good old 4th house. There can be beautiful aspects coming where you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. This can even be pay rises and things to that degree for many of you, but really using that networking and those energies will flow more effectively. But looking at the reasons why you connect in, especially because it's 12th house placement. Romantically, I do see you in the first week of January looking at things very uniquely. I do feel that you're looking at the psychological foundation. I do feel you may be regressing back over memories, connections, communication, and the way you see things. You may feel temporarily that something's hidden from you, but it can be your own feelings that are hidden from you. And taking that time to assess your marriages, contracts, partnerships can be a beneficial time at this point prior to moving into next week's astrology. First week of January is very beneficial to tune into how you feel. Where is your position in the matrix of all these scenarios? Not just what others want, but what you directly want out of this too. A two-sided way of doing things. Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aquarius is very much that polarity, and it's about joining and merging and co-creative energy. Humanitarianism, that's really the connection of your zodiac sign Aquarius and how it resonates. So, having a little bit of time in the first week of January to meditate upon all of what you've gone through and moving forward, and how you directly resonate with the people in your life can be a topic of growth and transformation. If you're currently in a relationship and you feel you don't resonate with it, you may find that this is where you start emotionally making choices. But for many of you, this is you in your own world, making union with self, really. Coming to a point where you're getting to know yourself, you're getting to know your likes and dislikes, you're understanding where you are in the matrix of life, and really re-navigating your plan of where you're wanting to move forward. This can also be a very spiritual connection for many of you, and especially because we did have such heavy Sagittarian energy last month, we're really moving into a dynamic in our connections where we're going to be in yin and yang. Okay, Aquarius, your must-knows. Number one, base chakra, your foundation. There is new beginnings here, especially with the first house placement. So lower back dynamics, using the red food groups, crystals relating to that to move that energy forward, especially because you do have fourth house placement playing out really throughout the month. It's a very good point that if you want to feel grounded, plus with your crown chakra, with your psychology, balancing both as above as below. The other area can really be psychology and therapy, to come to terms with things, and also journaling. So with the 12th house, it may also be where you have all of these ideas, but you can't get them down. So it can be overload of information coming to you, trying to transmute it into the 3D, but really having to take time away from, tuning into things all the time. So it could be too much white noise and not enough time away from external energies to get those tasks done. So really make sure with both the 12th house and the first house that you're able to get grounded enough to achieve your targets. And some of it could be just your targets really taking a toll on you. Let's have a look at 12th house, just briefly to give you an idea. It connects to your subconscious mind. Hidden resources, secrets, enemies, your social responsibility. It can be a house of imprisonment, mental asylums, deep psychic energy, for instance. Other energies that can play out as the house of mental imprisonment or betrayals, things that have occurred to you inside of connection. So however that lands for you, really playing out with that and doing the work through it. But I do feel you guys are moving away from that energy, because we do have beautiful aspects moving past this month and beyond, where after this is over, you are having a lot of first house placement, which can actually be very responsible because of Saturn being there. But it also can be very personal to you, where you're this new vibrational being moving forward. And the air energy will really benefit all zodiac signs relating to air elements. So you do have beautiful aspects moving forward. Frustrations and misunderstandings also can come up through the first week, and that's due to the 12th house placement. Now, you guys had heavy 12th house placement for about 2.5 years. So although we're entering into 2021, this month we do have Venus in Capricorn. We do have Mercury moving into Capricorn on the 8th. So, your thoughts, your processes, the way you see things, you'll be able to share them more effectively. And towards the end of the month, we are having Mercury going retrograde. But the heavy Capricorn energy that we had previously is moving away. So we're moving through this and moving into this new doorway. So it will ease up. So if you find yourself frustrated or feeling like you're going in a loop, it is moving. It has been quite tense for you guys over the last 2.5 years. But everything that you've learned, you can reapply in this first week for your astrology. actions will count moving forward, and the subjects that do come up, if you can tackle them head on, you will get benefits moving mid-month. Thanks, Aquarius. Hope to see you next week. If you are wanting a private booking, you can go to the link below. Now, sub if you want to have all your must-knows week by week. If you also are a twin flame and want twin flame readings, we come live. I will also be doing channeled messages for your romance, for the moon energies and your chakra systems and more. So if you haven't subbed, sub. If you are new here, a very warm welcome. Thank you to my subscribers. I love you all. Take care. I'll see you next week.